welcome everyone to what is now Nockamixon State Park, but what used to be Blue Ledge Farm and the Tohickon Quarry Company. All of the land that we have walked on this hike from the time we crossed Quarry Road, which was shortly after we began the hike, all of this land belonged to my family. So it's a very special place. And I don't know how many of you are familiar with the book that Marjorie Goldthorpe Fulp and I wrote. We wrote a history of the area called Our Lost Tohickon Valley. And that book is available on Amazon and available from the Haycock Historical Society. After I wrote the book, it was a very emotional, cathartic experience to write that book. And I am a writer, that is my profession. So I wrote this short essay for National Public Radio, and it was broadcast on the air several years ago. So I will read it to you now, and I just warn you that I have never read this without crying, so just ignore me and we'll get through this. The many tones of my cell phone have become the background music of my life. My own modern-day version of music playing throughout the day. As demanding as it is, I love my work as a freelance writer, but even the most rewarding relationship can benefit from some time spent apart. So it was with a sense of relief from current pressures and of longing for past experiences that I accepted an assignment that would return me to my roots. I grew up in bucolic bliss on a 100-acre farm in Haycock Township. When I was a teenager, that farm was taken from us through the right of eminent domain to build a park. Now, a local historical society wanted to produce a book that would document the homes, farms, and the lifestyle that had been lost during the park's construction. Without realizing it at first, it was a story I had been waiting decades to tell. With a mix of emotions, I began the journey towards the deep woods and lush meadows of Upper Bucks County. Penn's Woods, where James Michener and Pearl Buck found inspiration. And so did I, as a young girl who spent countless hours on her thinking rock. A childhood place so special that I have called upon it in my darkest adult hours. That jagged boulder high above a gently rolling creek is the talisman that I have touched through an unpleasant divorce, the vagaries of a writing career, the onslaught of middle age, and the death of a child. As the roads narrowed from 4 lanes to 2 to having to pull over for an oncoming car, my own personal brigadoon reappeared. Every curve was familiar. Every house once sheltered a friend. I stopped on an old access road at the edge of what was my family's farm. The land had been altered by time and machine, but like an old friend that one hasn't seen for a long time, the years fell away, replaced with images imprinted on my memory. I walked through the fields that used to be white with buckwheat blossoms, up the hill where winter wheat turned green early in the spring, to the place where my childhood companion Duke is buried. The stones I placed as a marker when I was 14 are gone, but I whispered his name and felt him brush by me. I headed into the woods towards the cliff. It was still there, the same beautiful, peaceful place where I sorted out my pubescent dilemmas and dreamed the dreams of a young woman and convinced myself that I would have a wonderful life. It will always be there. I remember something William Penn said, "Death is no more than a turning of us over from time to eternity." I believe that when life no longer becomes about time, when the tones of technology no longer mark the moments of my life, I will gladly turn myself over to an eternity that will set my spirit free to rest upon the thinking rock. So thank you all for coming and for enjoying this beautiful place.